Ever wonder how a commercial can lead to a major film role? Today, we're diving into the story of Kaylee Hottle.
Hi, I'm Leah, feeling curious and ready to explore today's fascinating topic.
And I'm Garrett, excited to dig into this story with you.
Welcome to Laid Back Learning with Leah and Garrett. Today, we're unraveling the journey of Kaylee Hottle, a talented deaf actress who made waves in Hollywood and left a lasting impact. Okay, here we go. I first noticed Kaylee in Godzilla vs. Kong. I remember settling in for a giant monster movie, and then there was this quiet, powerful thread running through it because of her character, Gia. Seeing authentic American Sign Language on screen, not as a side note, but as a real part of the story, just hit me. I'm not gonna lie, I got a little misty. It felt like the film was saying, this is normal, this is human, this belongs here. That was inspiring.
Yeah, that checks out. Let's set the scene a bit. Kaylee Hottle was a deaf American actress who played Gia in Godzilla vs. Kong, and again in Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. Gia wasn't just tagging along in the plot, she was the emotional anchor in a lot of ways. Kaylee's background made that possible. She grew up in an all-deaf family, which means American Sign Language, or ASL, was her first language at home. ASL is a full language that uses hand shapes, facial expressions, and body movement to communicate. That fluency gave her performances this lived-in authenticity you could feel.
Right, and there's more texture to who she was. She was born in Atlanta, and on her father's side, there were 4 generations of deaf relatives. That kind of deep family continuity in deaf culture, which is a community with its own language and traditions, can really shape confidence and identity. She was also of Korean descent through her mother, so her visibility on a massive franchise carried layers of representation, both as a deaf person and as a Korean American. That's a big deal in mainstream film.
And she went to the Texas School for the Deaf in Austin. That's a school built for deaf students, where ASL is central and the environment is set up for full access. She even competed in track and field there, which says a lot about her balance of school life and screen work. It's kind of wild how that steady community support can translate directly to on-set confidence.
Let's dig into how she got discovered because it's such a twisty little path. Before the film roles, she did commercials. One was a 2017 ad for Convo, which is a video relay service. A video relay service lets deaf signers talk to hearing people over the phone with an interpreter via video, so the interpreter signs to the deaf caller and speaks to the hearing person. It's everyday tech in the community. That ad showed her natural screen presence.
Here's where it gets interesting. An assistant director from Kong Skull Island, which came out in 2017, saw that Convo ad. An assistant director is one of the folks who keeps the set running smoothly, handles schedules and logistics, and manages a lot of moving parts. This person remembered Kaylee and pointed casting director Sarah Hallie Finn toward her when the team for Godzilla vs. Kong was searching for a deaf actress to play Gia. Sarah Hallie Finn, by the way, is a major casting director known for spotting talent across big franchises. So you've got this bridge from a deaf community ad to a blockbuster through industry word of mouth. That's pretty cool, right?
I love that chain reaction, but why wouldn't an assistant director be looped into casting like that? I mean, I get the network part, but why them specifically?
Great question. ADs work closely with actors on set and see who handles the camera, the rhythm, the whole vibe. Even if they're not making the final casting call, their recommendations can carry weight because they're trusted problem solvers and observers. When a production is seeking authentic representation, they sometimes widen the net and ask, who have you seen who's the real deal? So the AD remembering Kaylee from that Convo ad made practical sense.
That pathway led to her 2021 debut in Godzilla vs. Kong. The MonsterVerse is the shared universe of films with Godzilla, King Kong, and related characters. Gia, her character, communicates in ASL and has this bond with Kong that anchors the human side of the story. The authenticity wasn't just in front of the camera either. Rebecca Hall and Alexander Skarsgård, who are both actors in the film, learned ASL to talk with Kaylee off camera. That small act had a big ripple.
Totally. When your co-stars learn your language, even at a conversational level, It changes the on-set dynamics. You reduce delays from waiting on interpretation for casual check-ins, you build trust in the in-betweens, and the performances can feel more organic. It also shows the crew that inclusion is a shared responsibility, not just a box to check. That culture likely helped Kaylee do her best work.
And she didn't stop with the film. That same year, she appeared on television in Magnum P.I., the crime drama reboot, playing a character named June in an episode called Texas Wedge. That kind of crossover from a big screen franchise to a TV guest role may seem small, but it matters. It says the industry saw her as versatile, not just tethered to one role.
Then came 2024's Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire, where she reprised Gia. Returning to a role like that can deepen it, especially because sequels often raise the emotional stakes. And she earned a Saturn Award nomination for Best Performance by a Younger Actor. Quick definition: the Saturn Awards are given by the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films. It's a long-running ceremony that spotlights genre work. Getting that nod at a young age is serious recognition.
For real. And it said something about how the industry values authentic casting. That nomination wasn't a sympathy vote or a novelty. It was an acknowledgement of craft in a space where effects can overshadow human performances. She kept the human through line vivid.
Before we address the very hard part of her story, I want to note one more early project. She appeared in an informational piece called 10 Deaf Children, One Powerful Message, which uplifted deaf rights and visibility. It positioned her, even as a kid, as part of a broader conversation about equality and access. Those roots in advocacy line up with how she worked on set later, where ASL was a normal daily language.
Now the difficult part. In July 2026, at age 18, Kaylee died following a single-vehicle crash in Jamesville, Maryland. Police said excessive speed was believed to be a factor, but they didn't provide a conclusive cause. The vehicle left the road and hit a culvert, a structure that lets water flow under the road, and impacts with culverts can be severe. There were 3 people in the vehicle. The driver had non-life-threatening injuries. Another passenger walked away, and Kaylee was airlifted by Maryland State Police to R. Adams Cowley Shock Trauma Center, where she was declared dead. Her father later announced her death in a video statement online. It's heartbreaking.
It is, and it underlines how unpredictable collisions can be. Same car, same moment, different outcomes for people in different seats. We don't have a full investigative breakdown beyond that early statement, so all we really know is the preliminary note about speed and that it happened fast enough to require an airlift, which is emergency helicopter transport for critical care. I wish there were more clarity, but we should stick to what's confirmed.
Let's talk about that uncertainty for a bit. We have a preliminary statement about speed, but no final report cited. Why does the lack of a conclusive cause feel so heavy in a case like this?
Because when something tragic happens, we look for a reason that unlocks meaning or prevention. Without a confirmed cause, your brain tries to fill gaps. You wonder about things like mechanical failure, for example, a brake or tire issue, or road conditions like debris or a sudden slick patch. But unless investigators release a full report, we just don't know. The responsible thing is to acknowledge what's possible and also admit the limits of what's verified.
I hear that. And there's another layer. When public figures die young, people rush to build a narrative. It's human to want closure, but sometimes the fairest way to honor someone is to accept the open questions. In this case, speed was believed to be a factor. Beyond that, we can't conclude more without official findings. Anything else would be guesswork.
Right. And even if later details were to emerge, the core of her legacy is not the crash, but the work. In pop culture terms, she helped normalize ASL and deaf identity in the Monsterverse, which has a massive global audience. That visibility changes what audiences see as usual or expected. When signing shows up as part of the everyday fabric of a story, that hits different.
And the ripple keeps going. Fans rewatch Godzilla vs. Kong and Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire and notice how Gia's presence grounds the stakes. It has also nudged conversations about casting. Not just can a deaf actor lead a key storyline, but should productions build access into their daily operations? We've already seen one example on those sets, with co-stars learning ASL. It's a template others can adapt.
Here's a thought I've been turning over. What if that assistant director had never seen Kaylee's Convo commercial back in 2017? Would Gia have been played by someone else, maybe a non-deaf actor learning to simulate signing? Or would the film have gone with a smaller arc for the character?
Real talk. If that link hadn't formed, the production might have still looked for a deaf actress, but the timeline and chemistry could have changed. Discovery is often about expanding where you look. The Convo ad lived in deaf-centered media, not in a traditional audition database. Without that bridge, maybe they would have found someone later, or maybe the role would have shifted to fit a different performer's strengths. That would have changed the feel of the film's heart.
And from a franchise perspective, the Monsterverse might have missed an anchor that balanced the giant spectacle with intimacy. It's wild how one community ad can ripple into a global franchise. That's a curveball. It also highlights a takeaway for casting teams. If you look off the beaten path, you unlock talent that expands what your story can carry.
I totally agree, and I'd add this. Representation isn't just a face on a poster. It's language, culture, family, and the quiet details of lived experience. Kaylee brought that. Her family background, her schooling at the Texas School for the Deaf, even her athletics, all of it fed into a presence that felt steady and real. If she hadn't been discovered through that ad, we'd still be waiting on a different kind of breakthrough to show up in a franchise at that scale.
So stepping back, what sticks with me is how her work turned ASL from a plot device into a storytelling language on its own terms. The Saturn Award nomination for her role in The New Empire underlined that. Recognition in a genre award body which honors science fiction, fantasy, and horror sent a signal that authentic casting isn't niche. It's the new normal we should aim for.
And for anyone new to her story, there are these touchstones to explore. The Convo ad that first showed her spark. The informational project 10 Deaf Children, one powerful message that aligned her with advocacy early on. Then Godzilla vs. Kong, and the sequel where you can see how she grows the character. It's a compact body of work, but it has reach.
Last question from me, and it's a gentle why. Why do you think her performances resonated so widely, even for people who don't know ASL?
Because emotion translates. ASL uses the face and body to carry meaning, and when someone is fluent, those choices feel precise and human. You don't need every sign glossed for you to feel the intention. Also, the films framed Gia with care. They gave her space, not just subtitles. That combination made her performances legible to everyone, while still honoring the language. It's simple and powerful at the same time. Thanks for joining us. Keep exploring and stay curious.
Yeah, stay curious and see you next time on Laid Back Learning.